Hello everybody, how's it going today? Glowplasma231 here, back again today to talk about Oshi no Ko. But this week, we're not actually talking about a chapter of Oshi no Ko. We are talking about an interlude chapter of Oshi no Ko. Because today we are covering Interlude number 2. This is the second interlude we're getting while Akasaka, the actual story writer of Oshi no Ko, pretty much takes a break to do some stuff, right? Last I heard, he was participating in an Apex Legends tournament, so that's pretty fun, right? But during this time, the artist of the series, Mingo Yoraki, is actually coming in and writing some original stories for the manga itself. And if you don't remember what happened in the last interlude chapter, it was an interlude chapter, it was like 6 pages long, all about Mimcho, and sort of just showing her sort of desire to want to be an idol. And I personally thought, along with many other people, that all of these would be based on Mimcho, right? Just a character who hasn't really gotten a lot of love in this series, sort of showing stuff about her. But they're actually not, because this interlude chapter, interlude number 2 again, is all about Melt. I love Melt. If you don't remember who Melt is, he was one of the characters in the Sweet Today TV drama who really wasn't a good actor. I mean, I guess that's the nicest way to put it. And then he appeared again during the 2.5D stage play arc to play one of the characters there, and then eventually appeared again, or seems like he's going to appear again in the big movie about the 15-year lie, the big sort of whole final arc plot point of Oshi no Ko, right? So that's pretty much what we have. Is while this chapter isn't, I think it's a bit long. Let me just count. So 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so it's just in our 6 pages, just like the last one about Mimcho. But I actually do really like this chapter sort of a lot more than that one of Mimcho, because it sort of has a definitive end and or a definitive beginning and a definitive end. The last one just really didn't have a whole lot to it, right? But before we actually get started talking about the actual 6 pages itself, I just want to say I've got other Oshi no Ko videos on the channel. For instance, if you want to go hear my thoughts on the actual latest chapters of Oshi no Ko, I've got all those on the channel, along with covering last interlude chapter all about Mimcho, right? So with that, I don't have too much else to say, and let's hop into the chapter, right? As we start off with just sort of narration, just going occupation pretty boy, and we see Melt sort of just thinking like, that is my calling. As we sort of just see a picture of him, and like a very pretty boy picture of him, right? As we cut over to a Melt's, he had a photo book released, right? And pretty much because his his photo book commemoration handshake event is going on, because he released a photo book, so people are coming to shake his hands and pick up the photo book, right? As we see all of this is going on, and we see a news reporter is standing there in front of Melt, and they're just like, what do you think of fans? Will you date a fan? And we see Melt's reaction to this is he's just like, oh yeah, sure, I mean, I don't mind as long as they're cute, right? And he sort of just says this, and we get some semi-narration from Melt just going, I stirred up online criticism, right? He's like, now I think about it, back then, I was overwhelmed by the stage where I was forced to stand up against the gigantic and mysterious beings called fans, without any readiness or any determination at all, right? As we sort of see him doing like a stage performance of some kind. I don't know if it's like more of like a male idol deal, or sort of just like what's going on here, if he's just like on a stage just like showing off some clothes or something. It's really not sort of explained well, but it is also 6 pages, right? See here what I can only presume to be after this event going on, right? We see Melt is walking through a doorway, and we see probably some female people, just like fans, going like, oh hey Melt, can you please take a picture of me? I really want your autograph, right? And we see sort of Melt take off his glasses that he's wearing and sort of does a little bit of a wink, as a lot of these people are like, oh man, he is the king of fan service, right? As we get some more narration from Melt, as he's just like, I practice my wink every day in front of the mirror. It was something I wasn't used to, right? As we see that we now cut over to Melt in his office, pretty much, right? And he's sitting on a couch playing some video games, right? And he looks over to like a bunch of DVDs and movies beside him, right? And he's just like, man, the agency boss told me to watch these. I'm not really interested, but I guess I'll do it, right? as he goes and turns them on, and it looks to be an idol performance going on, right? And we sort of just get Melt's reaction of, man, I want to be popular with the girls, but how should I put it? It's not really what I want to be. I don't want to be like that, right? As we now cut over to Melt talking with his manager, right? And apparently he just told her that he wants to be part of a band, and we see her reaction just going, what? You're telling me you want to be part of a band, right? And she's like, well, Melt, can you play an actual instrument? And he's just like, oh, no, not at all, but I'm hoping that you'll let me take lessons, right? And the agency boss is just like, hey, I've seen a lot of fools like you, you know? I don't want to sell my pretty face, but I want to be an artist. And she's just like, please, don't look down on gaining publicity, right? And as all of this is going on, we now get more information from Mel himself. Just going, since then, I've continued to hold out on this world for several years. I've come to understand what the boss said a little, as we sort of just see him in the actual 2.5 stage play production. The character that he was playing, I honestly forget who it was, right? Granted, the story of Tokyo Blade wasn't that important to the arc, really. It was just, oh yeah, he's going to be playing a character, right? And that was the real point of that. And we sort of just see Melt doing his thing and just showing off his stuff, right? As we see some people out back, presumably after the stage play, just going, oh man, Melt, you are so amazing, right? As we now see that Melt is on what I can only, say to be Twitter or X, whatever you're calling it, right? And he's just, scrolling through on his phone, and we see a bunch of comments, right? As we see, one person is just man, going, it's just a playground to him, right? And we see another person just going, oh man, Melt is just trying to sell his face, right? And we just get a whole bunch more just going, how nice, he can flirt with girls and earn money. The guy who reads in monotone is still around, huh? Obviously, targeting him from the Sweet Today arc we had a little while ago, right? Which actually was in the anime, so you can go hear that monotone reading in real time. You can hear actual bad acting in a series that has sort of good acting. Yeah, it's a little confusing now I think about it, right? But we also see some other stuff, just man, if he hangs out with Aya, I'll kill him. Which I guess is probably an idol or somebody like that, a very famous female identity that Melt may have dated at the time or something like that, right? And we just even get some more stuff to this going. He hits everything pretty much just because he was born handsome, right? And he was he can never really show his real talent for the rest of his life, right? And a bunch of these really just derogatory and evil comments as we see Melt just thinking to himself, no matter how much I hone my skills, that label won't come off. So just bring it on, everybody, as we sort of just get this idea again of just his occupation is a pretty boy, right? And we see him just going, it's my calling, and I'll bet my life to prove it, right? As we sort of end off the chapter there, as we also get a little bit of actual dialogue from Melt, as he's hey everybody, thanks for waiting, as he comes onto a stage with a microphone, and there's a bunch of girls who are all cheering and wooing for him, and he's just you girls all want to see me, right? And that's where we sort of end off this little quick chapter, again, in our interlude of Oshi no Ko. But I did enjoy this because I can definitely say at the beginning, you really just don't like Mel. You think he's a bad character. You're just what's up with this guy? Just bad at acting, bringing this entire stage or this entire production down a Sweet Today. Then whenever he shows back up in 2.5 stage play arc, you're just oh man, he has grown as a character. He took that criticism in and actually did some stuff with it and became a fun character. And sort of getting to see him again through this interlude, and I very much like the beginning and conclusion of, hey, my occupation is a pretty boy, right? And he's it's my calling, and then ending it off just so just bring it on, right? He's I'm a pretty boy, I know it, and it's my calling, and I'll bet my life to prove it. It's just some really cool determination that I do enjoy from Melt here in this bonus chapter, right? But that's really all I have to say about it. But I do have some good news for all of us fans of Oshi no Ko. We won't have to wait another 2 weeks for an interlude chapter like we did last time, having to wait for this Melt chapter to come out after the, what character was it? Mimcho chapter, yeah. So next one will be coming out on August 30th of 2023, so it's just going to be a week, and being that we now know that this chapter is all about Melt, there are definitely a few characters who they could probably focus on. I highly doubt we're going to get one about Kana or Akane or Ruby or Aqua, or really just any of the very big important characters. I just very much highly doubt that, To be honest, I'm hoping that we get one from... Ooh, let me pull up his name. I think his name was Taiki from the 2.5 Stage Play Arc. He's one of the people involved in the Lili Troop. Let me look up Oshi no Ko wiki page. Yep. Wiki on fandom. Let me just look at all the characters, because we've got 2 more of these left, and it's obviously not going to be like the big popular characters. So yeah. I could maybe see one focusing on Minami Kobotoki, just because she is a semi-important character. We may actually also see one on any of the people from the reality dating show that Aqua and Akane were on. That may be something very interesting to see, is what those characters are up to now, because I don't know if we're going to be seeing those characters again. Where are the rest of the characters? They used to have all the characters on one big page on the front. Maybe it was a characters tab. Characters. Supporting characters. Minor characters. Why don't they show the page they once showed? Yeah, Taiki Himakawa, that's who I'm thinking about. Yeah, the sort of older looking guy who Aqua had that moment with all that time ago, so we'll just see how it happens. Like I said, we've got 1 week till the next chapter, so not a excruciating 2-week wait for another 6-page chapter, but without any further ado, that's all I gotta say. If you liked my sort of talking about this very short chapter, hopefully you don't mind going out and maybe checking the other Oshi no Ko reviews on the channel, or even dropping a like, commenting down below in the description box if you think that I got anything wrong or anything right, or if I really messed anything up this time around. And if not, hopefully you would also consider subscribing to the channel. And yeah, this was Oshi no Ko chapter, or no chapter, it's just Oshi no Ko Interlude 2. And yeah, next time I'll be back with Interlude 3. And see you next time. This is only Glowplasma231. Out.